What's up, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Author and Punisher entitled Women and Children. This is released on Seventh Rule Recordings. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, it's based out of San Diego, California, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very cold, abrasive, and hard-hitting style of industrial music, mixed with some elements of doom metal and drum thrown in there too. Yeah. This has been one very unique and interesting project for Tristan Schoen. He is the man behind Author and Punisher. He basically is Author and Punisher. He plays everything. He does the vocals, the riffs, the programming, the sampling, just to create some very disturbing and just abrasive industrial music. I mean, if you happen to be into stuff like Godflesh or Early Skinny Puppy or KMFDM or Nine Inch Nails or Bauhaus to a certain extent, you'll find something to enjoy with Author and Punisher. This new release is the first time I've ever gotten acquainted with this project, and in doing so, I decided to look deeper into his body of work. And the bodies of work that stood out to me the most were his last two albums under the Author and Punisher guise, um, Drone Machines and Ursus Americanus. Now, you want to talk about the ugly side of industrial? Those two albums are definite representations of how terrifying and innovative industrial can be. Those records are just sensational in every sense of the word. Just the pulsating vibes and atmospheres, the vocals, just the overall abrasiveness of those two records definitely showcased what this project is all about. Now we have the fourth full length from this project entitled Women and Children. It's 7 tracks and it clocks in at around 40 minutes in length. And the thing that I love the most about this particular album is the fact that this album careens in so many different directions. You have no idea what way you're going and what you're going to be expecting. Like, take the opening track, the opening title track. It's for the first couple of minutes of the song, you're going to get some pretty minimalistic kind of sounds and silence, and then things start to get louder, and then you hear the screamed vocals. It's just craziness and chaotic structuring all the way throughout. It's like that for the first 3 tracks of this particular record. Um, Women and Children is definitely something that leads it off, and then going into songs like In Remorse and Melee, you definitely pick up the real gritty industrial vibes that you pick up throughout the songs. Just the way some of the riffs are delivered and played, to the electronic sampling and experimentation, I think it's awesome. Preferably the first few, preferably the title track and Melee. Those are songs that definitely represent the ugliness of this band's industrial side. Um, but then, as you get to the second half of this particular album, you then take a bit of a more calm down approach. Like with the track Tame as a Lion, you get things seem to be a little bit more softer, but yet it still is reliant on being very abrasive and hard hitting. Uh, to even later tracks like Fierce, uh, Miles from Home, and the closing track Pain Myself. I mean, every single track that's on this album definitely has a story to tell, and it's definitely very unique and interesting. Just the way the guitar and bass riffs are done throughout this record are just hard hitting and devastating. The electronics are definitely something that make this album stand out far more than anything else. Um, yeah, and the vocals are another thing to talk about too. The vocals are very wide and very wide ranging, very much alternative esque. Going back to what I said earlier about Bauhaus and Skinny Puppy, just some very unique kind of alternative style singing and wailing. To even the growls. The growls are just almost scary and frightening at times. Women and Children and Melee for sure are definite representations. Even to some of the more emotional kind of singing, like on Tame as a Lion and Pain Myself. I want to say the last track has a bit of a more current Nine Inch Nails type of feeling to it. Very raw and very emotional. I will say the track Miles from Home definitely feels a little bit on the repetitious side. I mean, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful kind of way. It's just that the way that the song is going throughout. It has a simple kind of bass tone, some minimalistic electronics, and a repeated line of I can change, I can change, I can change, sung in many different octaves. That's where the repetition lies. And some people might like that and some people might not. But for what it is, I think it's definitely unique. It's very unique and interesting. So overall, compared to the last few Author and Punisher releases, I would say I wouldn't know how to feel about this. I really, really love it. For more likely than anything, the electronics that are done through the first half of this record are sensational. Um, Even to the more calmer moments, it's very, very special. This is a very special and unique release. This is something I'm going to be listening to a lot in order for me to understand it better. Of course, I love industrial stuff. I like KMFDM, Combi Christ, all that kind of stuff. But this is pretty much more along the abrasive sides of industrial. It's very, very different. But altogether, I loved it. And if you're a fan of industrial music, I definitely urge you to give it a shot. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say the title track, Melee, Tame as a Lion, and Pain Myself. So I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the Seventh Rule Recordings web store where you can purchase this album and buy it for yourself. It is available in both CD and soon-to-be LP formats. There are shirt bundles as well. You can hear this on Spotify, Bandcamp, on the Seventh Rule Bandcamp page, sample some select songs. This is definitely something very interesting to listen to. So, again, the album is Women and Children by Author and Punisher. This is released on Seventh Rule Recordings. Check this out. And for the time being, I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. Very, very unique from first track all the way to last. It does have moments where you won't know what to expect, but yet this is something that will be a particular grower on you. So check out Author and Punisher. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Armijo out.